Hello, this is Dan Ferrisi, Group Director of Content and Editorial, Industrial and Tech at Emerald. So I have to be joined today by my friend Ron Berty, who is Business Development Manager with Matrox Video. Topic of conversation is, of course, InfoComm 2026. It is nearly upon us. The entire industry community is excited. And one of the reasons they're excited is that the top vendors in the industry, including and especially Matrox Video, always have exciting stuff to share when they get to Las Vegas, when they get to InfoComm. And they will be at booth C7437. I know it's right at the top of my list to check out when I get there. Thank you so much, Ron, for joining me today and giving us a sneak preview, so to speak, about what we're going to see in Vegas this year.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. And yeah, I'm excited to, let's say, talk about some of the things we're going to be showing and talk about some of the things that are happening in the industry. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Always good to see you, my friend. So why don't we start with a little bit of thought leadership? As AV and IT continue to converge, where would you say today's AV over IP solutions are still falling short?
Well, I think the market itself has done well. I mean, it's really grown immensely in the last several years. But I think when it comes to, especially in the Pro AV side, I think we're really kind of settling sometimes in terms of the projects that we implement, and we design around limitations, and it works. It actually creates a solution that gets into place and works for a while and operates, but there's still issues, and we've been challenging that, right, as an industry. So with the IPMX side of things, we're coming to some sort of level of interoperability clearly in the market, and more products are coming out. So we're sort of addressing it from that perspective. But at the same time, we still have challenges of moving video over networks and the bandwidth it takes, and the type of network communication that's occurring, the packets that are being pushed across the network, and how to manage that is still a challenge for us. And to make it easy to operate and also available to be increased over time or developed over time, so that, again, you're not compromising in one way or another as you build out your solution, both initially and then over time. So I think that's one of the things that we're sort of seeing are one of the limitations that we often have to incorporate into the designs and so on, and when we're building a project out. And we're hoping to address that, to some degree going forward.
Absolutely. Now, I have heard you call Maevex MGX a paradigm shift in AV over IP. What would you say makes it so different from what's already out there? What earns it the title of a paradigm shift?
It's exactly that. I mean, I'm saying we're hoping to solve this, and I think we do solve it with the Maevex MGX to a degree. So to put that in context to the problems we've been seeing and designing around in the past, we kind of have effectively three types of AV over IP, in my opinion. Just in generally, we have fully uncompressed, we have light compression, that's JPEG XS, that type of thing. Those types of in2pix type codecs and so on that run at about 800 megabits a second for 4K. And then we have highly compressed, right? And highly compressed, you kind of look at that, and it does extremely well from a bandwidth point of view, but from the point of view of maybe latency or quality, it's considered lossy, where the uncompressed is lossless, if you will. And the light compression kind of visually lossless is the way most people will describe it. And that's great. So, all right, there's those three areas that are being addressed today. But what we're saying is that, okay, well, the light compression is good. It's better than uncompressed, but it's still almost a gig. So single Cat5 cable carries one 4K signal. What if we could get 20 times that on the same cable? So, but not just that, let's also make sure that we also cover a visually lossless, we'll call it, for all practical purposes on a desktop, lossless content, and at the same time at a latency that rivals and is comparable to that of light compression, which is around a frame or a little bit less. So can we do that? And with MGX, we can deliver that. So we deliver a 444 HEVC solution So that's every color is counted. Everything is there in the content. We deliver it at 1/20th the bandwidth of virtually all Pro AV codecs at the 1 gig or the lightly compressed environment today. And we can deliver it as low as 1 frame of latency. So all of that comes in the MGX package in what we call our Matrox IQ mode, but we also deliver IPMX as a whole. So it has IPMX capability, it has RTSP, MPEG-TS, SRT, and it also has this Matrox IQ mode that gives you all three of those parameters in the AV over IP space at the high compression spectrum, which simply has not existed in the past. So that's why we're really calling it a paradigm shift. It is a new option that has not been available to Pro AV until now with MGX.
Is really, really exciting stuff. And I have to say, when I talk to integrators, IT teams, which I do every day, challenges that I hear about over and over again are exactly what you're just referring to, bandwidth or network complexity. It really sounds like Maevex MGX changes the conversation fundamentally.
It really does. It's a fundamental change in the way that you can move video around. And I'm not saying it fits everywhere. I mean, certainly broadcast is not going to move over to that solution. I don't think so. They really replaced SDI, and that's fine. That's okay. And certainly in some places in Pro AV, like live events and so on, I expect there's very likely those people are going to continue to use either light compression or fully uncompressed in those environments because they want the high fidelity, the perfect quality of the content to be there. So that's fine. But in a lot, 99% of applications in Pro AV, this is now an option that is available to the customer base. And it makes a paradigm shift in the way that we can do things. And that's exactly to what you're speaking about, Dan. It's about the network operator, whether that's the IT admin or the AV network operator, much less complexity in the network space. So, switch fabric is no longer on the switches that you have. The fabric has to be there to switch in and out of every one of those ports on the switch. Well, now you've got a lot more let's say, overhead typically to work with because you're at 1/20th of what we're using today. So now whenever you have those, video networks, you can attach them to that switch and that network simply and easily to a single switch. And then even the interconnect between switches made that much easier, much less complex. Even if you did get it to work before, your potential for growth over time is challenged because the more video you add, and we all know everyone is adding more and more video to their workplace, to their environments that everybody is working in today. So having that capacity and using all still staying on 1 gig switches, but with much less bandwidth for any single stream, allows for a much less complex, a much less costly, and a much less problem-oriented solution. So it just simplifies things for anyone who's trying to build out these systems, both now for the initial installation and growth over time that we all know is occurring on a regular basis these days.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, less costly, less complex. That is the zeitgeist of the moment. That is the demand. And you're speaking directly to it, So as we begin to wrap up the conversation, I have a two-part closing question for you. Obviously, InfoComm is coming up fast. I'm scratching off the days. Everyone is super excited. But what are you most excited to show attendees about Maevex MGX in person? And secondarily, when they get to the booth, what are the demos, the activations, the interactive experiences that you are psyched to share with those who visit?
Well, for sure. I mean, clearly the most excited I am is certainly the Maevex MGX to show that off. But I also, it doesn't take over everything. It doesn't, it's not going to change, like I said, broadcast or live event. So we're going to continue to be showing our convert IP products that handle the uncompressed and light compression side of things, which we still think is and it's very successful for us too. So of course we're going to show that. But at the same time, we'll be showing off our control room environments And in there, we have both our Maevex 6100 series, 7100 series products, but then we add the MGX for those that want additional quality and lower latency in control room environments for what I call contribute and distribute to the control room, or to and from the control room. So certainly that's the case, but then we'll also be showing off a really neat demo to show how you might be able to use the MGX in UCC, so Unified Communication and Collaboration environments, in which you can share data through, some of the software that all of the software that we use today, whether that's Teams, Zoom, or Google Meet, or whatever you're using, how we can use the MGX to enhance the quality and bring quality between meeting rooms to a much higher level than what Teams can do. And Teams can continue sharing it externally outside of the LAN, but internally share absolutely refined detail, perfect image quality, and make decisions between rooms on the same content without fidelity loss. And with zero latency or near zero latency. So it really makes that decision making real time, not just in control room environments, which we do, but also in the collaboration space. So I'm really excited to start showing that and how that can be used there at the show. And I look forward to it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to see you there too.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to get to booth C7437. In fact, I think I'm booked there for 9 a.m. on Wednesday. I think you're the first booth I'm going to see. And you've given us a very compelling reason why. So thank you so much, Ron Berty, Business Development Manager with Matrox Video, for joining me today and giving us, sharing with us the excitement that you have about Maevex MGX and everything else Matrox Video has cooking. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome, Dan. It's always great to speak with you. Thanks so much.
Likewise. My name is Dan Ferrisi. I am Group Director of Content and Editorial, Industrial and Tech at Emerald. Please do keep your eyes on commercialintegrator.com in the days leading up to InfoComm, during the show, after the show, for a full 360-degree view of all the goings-on in our industry, especially from our leading suppliers like Matrox Video.